Hi, fifth graders. Welcome to lesson 9-3, use multiplication to divide. Our I can statement says I can use multiplication to divide a whole number by a unit fraction. So right now, please write down our lesson title and our I can statement, and you can press pause if you need to and press play when you're ready to move on. Here's our problem for today. A sandwich shop prepares large wraps and cuts them into fourths. Each fourth is one serving. William buys 5 whole wraps for a party. How many servings will he get in all? We'll solve this problem any way we choose. So again, we're going to use cubes. And we know that the sandwich shop is making wraps. And the wraps are cut into 4 pieces or fourths. And then each fourth is one serving. So that means it will serve one person. And William is going to buy 5 whole wraps for his party, and we are trying to see how many servings he will get or how many people he can feed with it. So they've given us a picture of one of the wraps, and it's divided into 4 pieces. So you can use that. You can draw to help you figure out how many servings he'll get when he buys 5 wraps for the party. You can write out an equation to help you do this as well. I'm going to let you give this a try. Please give it your best effort, come up with an answer, and then when you're finished, you can go ahead and hit play, and I will show you how I solved it, and I'll show you a couple other ways. All right, well, thanks for working hard to solve this problem. I'm going to show this a couple different ways because I want you to understand kind of what it looks like, and then I'm going to show you a math equation problem that will also represent it. So I am going to draw my 5 whole wraps, and I'm going to put them like this, like they're all lined up here on a counter together. And there's my 4th wrap and my 5th wrap. And it tells me that these wraps are cut into fourths. The easiest way to cut something into fourths is to first cut it in half and then take your half and cut it in half. Drawing 3 lines, but we get 4 pieces. Try to make these fairly even. So I'm now cutting my 3rd wrap into 4 pieces, my 4th wrap into 4 pieces, and my 5th wrap into 4 pieces. Well, just by doing this, I could see how many servings I got. I would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You might have solved it like this and found that we would get 20 servings. Now for this problem, that's pretty easy to do, but sometimes we're going to run into problems that are working with bigger numbers, and that's going to get a little hard to draw that out. So I'm going to show you a way that we could solve this using a math equation. So basically, we have 5 whole sandwiches, and we're cutting them into 1/4. So we're dividing 5 into 1/4. Whenever we do this, we can kind of look at it as we did earlier, but before it was a little bit different. It's a little harder for us to go, okay, how am I going to represent this as a fraction here? But there is a way we can do that by doing something called reciprocating the second fraction, which this 1/4 is. So whenever we look at this, this is going to be a way that we're going to be able to change things a little bit. And instead of using this as a division sign, we're going to change this to a multiplication sign. We are going to represent our whole number as 5/1, and we are going to make this 1/4 into its reciprocal. So that means that we are going to make it into 4/1, and that is going to give us 20 servings. Now, the important thing is that we understand how this works and why it works. And that's why I drew out the diagram where I actually cut my sandwiches into fourths so I could represent it and count it, and you can see how this will actually work. But using this algorithm will also do the trick. because it's not going to always be the most efficient thing for us to do to solve a problem by drawing a picture. So what we do is we can make that 1/4 into its reciprocal by making it 4/1, and then we just multiply straight across our numerators and our denominators, and we get 20 servings. It's kind of a nice way to be able to do these division problems. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at a couple other solutions. So Rami did something similar. They did not draw out all of the sandwiches like I did. And they kind of worked this equation as a multiplication equation, except they had their equation equaling to the 5 whole sandwiches. That's what this 5 stands for, or the whole wraps, not sandwiches. And then they were able to think about, okay, how can I find how many total pieces I would get? So he represents the 4 servings of each of the 5 wraps, and he used a number line to do that, and then use a multiplication equation to solve that problem. But still, he was dividing those up into those pieces, just a different way than I did, but he was still able to get the correct answer. Now this one looks a little bit more like I did. This 1 represents 1 whole wrap, and then underneath she has represented that as being divided into 4 servings. You have 5 wraps divided into 4 servings, and that's where we get our 5 times 4 will equal 20 servings. So today, we want to make sure that we summarize our work, and you may want to talk about both ways that we could do that, how we could draw those wraps out, all 5 of those, and show how each one was cut up into 1/4, and that was a serving, and then we could either multiply or count our servings to get 20 servings. You might also want to talk about how we learned a new strategy today where we were reciprocating that second fraction, and we changed 1/4 into 4/1, and then we were able to multiply 5 times 4 and get 20 servings. So please make sure you write a short paragraph about that, telling us all about all the steps, just like if you were explaining it to maybe a 4th grader who had never seen this before, maybe teaching it to them. And then before we end today, we don't want to forget our magic secret word. And since the Super Bowl is coming up and the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl this year again, we want to make sure that they score a lot of touchdowns. So your secret word is touchdown. Please write that next to the title at the top of your paper. And thank you for working hard, and be ready to share your summary tomorrow.